just instinctually, without really thinking about it, what are 3 roles that you'd really like to act in?
Oh, I I want to get Joan of Arc in before it's too late. Shaw's Joan of Arc. God, it's good. I'd love to play Cleopatra. That play is so sexy in Antony and Cleopatra. These wrecked heroes. I want to be a voice in Ajo, the Beckett piece.
What's your favorite part that you have played in the past?
Audrey actually springs to mind because I was so chastised in Audrey from As You Like It. And I'm not Rosalind yet, but I should be Celia. I should be Celia. And I got cast as Audrey, and she is about, if you don't know, 17 lines. And I was so mad. I really wanted Celia. And I kind of threw a fit, and I was an awful actress about it. And I've never felt more guilty or more glad because it was such a joy to do. I will never look down on small parts ever again just because they're small, because every line she has is golden. It's hilarious, and you get to dance. That's probably the most just out and out glad I've ever been with the part, though. It felt like I knocked that one. In a huge bustle and a blacked out tooth, which would change, this wig. It was ridiculous. It was great.
What does live performance do for you?
Selfishly, it's more of an actor's medium than film or TV, because it's going to be what happens on that stage. It's not a cut that was selected later on. Now granted, and this I love too, it's a collaborative effort to get to that point. We've rehearsed for a long time and talked a lot about why these decisions are these decisions and how we think that this should ideally go. The camaraderie of it too, because you're all in it together. Everyone on that stage and off stage and in the audience, you're all relying on each other to make this happen. And past that, selfishly too, it's immediate gratification, which is why I've always preferred comedies. I love that you can hear immediately, what's landed, and you can take that and you can keep going with it, and hopefully it all goes well, but you can't get that anywhere else.
What is your biggest personal challenge as an actress?
Oh, my biggest problem has always been, and I've been working on it, and I think that I get better at it, is sometimes I can be so convinced of my own rightness that I'm not collaborating anymore. That now I'm just being stubborn. I'm not trying it. I don't want to try it that way because I know that it's my way. And that just dead ends everything. And I've found a lot of liberation now in just saying, yeah, okay, and doing it. I'm sure anybody watching this has watched enough theater to be able to tell usually where, if any blame should be laid anywhere, where that blame lies. Directing's hard, and directing is a new medium, and I think it surprises some people to think that it wasn't really until film that there were directors. There were actor managers for theater. It wasn't until technology became so advanced that we could manipulate all of the, electrical lights and the microphones, and we had cameras, that we can capture these things and we can edit them and control them, that there were directors. There just weren't. I often see things and wish you can tell that it wasn't the actor's first impulse, and that their impulse was stronger, whether because they believed it more or because it just seemed more in keeping with that cast or that story. And I'll wish that they'd stuck to their guns. Yeah, I have a method for how I explore our character I'm going to play. And it depends. It depends how complex the script or the story is. But I, for one, I take everything initially right off the page, and I try and learn the lines cold initially. I have a great respect for punctuation and for the choice of word, and as that fits inside the story, I want to put it in the context. And then past that, it really is just seeing how you fit in with the actual people who are playing these actual characters. and I think it's always very free form. But I've played some really tricky parts, I think. I've been gratified to hear, like, quite famous, you know, wonderful people say, that's a tricky part, because I always thought it at the time, like Isabel in Richard II. It's a tricky part, you know, and there's not a whole lot to ground it on. We just did Birthday Party, and it was Lulu. They're all hard in that, but she's such a small part, too. There's even less to ground her on.
When there is incomplete information about a character, do you think that there's value in developing the rest of the character, even if it's not explicitly written in the text?
I think there's value for some actors in, you know, filling in what you can't see. I don't go for backstory at all. I've never come up with a backstory in my life, and I've always been really averse to putting one together, because I feel like anything that I've created, that's not what the author wrote. And so I don't want that to skew what I'm actually bringing on, because I went, yes, but I bought the flowers that morning. I don't know that. That's always suited me. I've always felt uncomfortable, like I was trespassing in creating a backstory. And I've always really disliked when directors ask for them, you know, and insist on them, or someone else is thrusting their backstory on me. But that's just me. I think it helps a lot of people, you know? I just don't like them.
When it comes to emotion on stage, do you use substitution?
I use substitution if I have to come on stage in a really high emotional state. Like if I'm storming through a door in tears, I need something to get there that I'm not going to be able to find in the scene, because the scene hasn't begun. That's not to say that I'm not more sensitive to some things than others. You know, there are some spots in my life that make me especially sad to think about, and if a scene reminds me of them, then, you know, or happy, you know, or whatever it is, or angry. Everybody's got their pet peeves and their history, you know.
Are you staying true to your idea of keeping it all within the play, you know, with what's in the script, if you are using substitution?
No, I guess that is a cheat. But I would say that it really only is if I have to find something before I'm even in the play. And, you know, and having... In my earlier days, I played a lot of princesses, you know, and a lot of sad ingenues, and there's a lot of times in a lot of stilted scripts and melodramas and Victorian things like that, and you have to come in and you're in this high state of drama, you know, and you know, sometimes you try and put it in the context of like, you know, has just happened off stage. But sometimes you've got to get there so quickly. Sometimes the script isn't really that strong, you know, and you go, oh, I'm never going to get there. And so you just create something true. This is true. You're right, I'm a cheater.